Hello, I bring you someone you haven't seen in a very long time, and that is Mini, the pygmy bearded dragon. I didn't show him in my videos because he wasn't in the dark den for the past, I don't know, like a year, and now he's here just temporarily because I built him an amazing new enclosure. Before we start, I would like to say big thanks to all of you that wrote me all the nice comments in the last video and that sent me all the support and encouragement, because in case you didn't watch the last video, I will need to tear down the junglarium, but go and check out last video to see what is up. Now in regards to Mini, let me give you a bit of a backstory, because I'm pretty sure that not a lot of you are familiar what is his origin, to say. So this is Mini, and he is a pygmy bearded dragon. I'm not really familiar with the scientific name, but he was part of the dark den ever since I moved into this final dark den that is in the basement of my house. And technically he was never mine, because I received him from a friend of mine that was keeping him just temporarily for his boss. I mean, his boss's kid got him, but they had to move for some time, and my friend asked me if I can keep him for a while. I said yes, of course, but I never expected that he will become mine. It was just for a few months, and then those months turned into a year, 2 years, and all of a sudden Mini was a part of the dark den. He fit without any problem and seemed really lively, but for 2 years, while he was under that kid's care, he was never kept with the UVB, and he was basically only fed. He was rarely fed with live insects, but instead they were giving him some paste. I don't even know what they were using. So considering all of that, I'm surprised that he is in such a good shape and that he is usually super active and curious. So, well, oops, sorry, my mate. You can go back. Anyhow, for a year and a half or 2 years, I don't really remember, he was a part of a dark den. And then the friend that originally brought him to me asked me if he can keep him because his daughter liked lizards, and I was like, of course that you can keep him. So that is where he was for the past year and why you never seen him in my videos. And now, as I said, he's just temporarily here because we built him a brand new enclosure. Now check it out. I'm gonna do like a grand reveal. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! This right here is his brand new crib, and if his current enclosure looks empty, that is because this decoration is actually from his enclosure, and this corkboard goes here somehow, maybe that, oh, I think this side, yeah, you see? It fits right here. What do you say, Mini? Do you like your new house? It is much more spacious. You no longer have this sand, so now he can be fed directly in the enclosure without the fear of him ingesting the sand, which is great news. And the enclosure is basically complete. I'll need to put glass or plexiglass panel here because I'm pretty sure that he will be able to climb on the background and go outside, which is something that we definitely don't want. And if you're wondering how did I build this and set up this enclosure, don't you worry, of course that I recorded the whole process, so let's jump into that. So the way that we are going to build this enclosure will be basically the same like the way I built this shelf behind me. And not just that one shelf, basically the entire dark den is built the same way. This shelf behind, this Pasito's enclosure, this big enclosure, also all of these shelves, they are all built using particle boards, and it is kind of a relatively simple thing. Of course you can use any kind of board like plywood or OSB boards, but particle boards are for me the most easiest and most cheapest boards that I can get. And you can of course cut them by yourself, but you will probably have a chipping problem, or you can have a proper company to cut them for you. And that is exactly what I did in this case. You see, these are all the boards. This is the bottom panel, this is the back panel, these are the sides, this is the front panel, and this small one is the top panel. For the job you need the drill, you need a driver, you need a bunch of screws for particle boards, and this is not necessary but makes life a bit easier. It is a jig for drilling holes. I will show you how to use it. And if you're wondering what is that noise, it seems like dart frogs are having a party. So yeah, sorry about that. Let's get down to business. I'm gonna build it on the floor because on a table I don't really have enough room. So first, we are going to connect bottom panel with the back panel. And the way that we achieve that is to drive screw through this board into this board. But this is where this jig comes into a play. Since we need to drive screws through this back panel, we are going to drill holes in advance. And the way we do that is by using this jig, as I said. So you simply place it where you want a hole and drill. Now the alignment of this hole will perfectly match middle of this board when you place it behind. It is now directly in the middle of this board, so perfectly aligned. We need 2 more. Now we can connect them. Actually, we need more pilot holes. That is because screws for particle boards are pretty thick, and if you would attempt to drive them through the particle board without making a pilot hole, you would just end up splitting the board, and that is a no-no. So that's why we need to align everything and drive another hole through this hole that we already made. And you try to be super precise with it, because you don't want any edges. I intentionally didn't drive it all the way because I want to make another hole. I mean, I want to align it for the second hole. And hole for the last screw. Now we do the sides, which will actually require a whole lot of pre-drilled holes. Not only that, we will require 2 for the bottom, 2 for the back. We will also need 1 for the front panel and 1 for the top panel, or maybe 2 for the front panels. Yeah, I want that panel to be fixed, so I will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes on both sides, so yeah. So from here the process is basically the same to finish this. Align everything, drive the pilot holes, drive the screws, and repeat. Therefore no need to repeat myself anymore, just enjoy the quick time lapse. Okay, now this is it. First step is complete. Check out how it looks. Just a standard empty box. Next step is to create the door and also to silicone all the edges to make sure that the moisture cannot penetrate the particle boards. Even though this will be a fairly dry enclosure, as I will be building it, there will be some moisture that will potentially ruin the enclosure, so therefore I'm going to silicone all the edges. For that I have a transparent silicone, and for sliding glass door I have these plastic guiders that I used to silicone to the particle boards, but that is not really holding that well. So therefore this time I'm going to use the black glue that I usually use for plastic parts in my enclosures, and I'm hoping that this will hold it better. Although the problem is this is black and this is white, so I will need to be really careful so it won't be visible. So, yeah. First, let's silicone the inside. I'll just run a bit of silicone on every edge. I mean on every connection, yeah. And then just smear it with my finger. Okay, I smoothed all the edges, as you can see, and they are so smooth that the camera is struggling to focus. Great success! Now let's silicone the guiders. I mean, let's glue them down, not silicone, because this is not a silicone. Let's see if I run a straight bead, if it will stay within the guider, you know. Okay, this looks pretty good. No traces of black glue or anything. Excellent! For top one, I'm going to apply it directly on the guider, even though that is a bit tricky. It is tricky to remain straight. You see, I messed it up here a bit, but I think it should be all right. Painter's tape to make sure it doesn't fall down, and that should be it. I only messed it up here. You see, black glue is visible, but I think I will be able to scrape it off once it cures. So yeah, let's do a time jump, and voila! This is basically it. You see, door works like this. Simple and nice, clean looking. The only thing that I still need to do is cover these screws on all sides. You see, all of that will be covered, but this is basically it. Now we proceed to the background, and what I have in my mind, I'm going to use these rocks as a background, and I can actually show you, because if you remember, I already used those rocks when I built the Thor's enclosure. You see, here you can see how that looks. It looks pretty sweet, and the only difference will be the only thing that is holding rocks at its spot is the excavator clay. There is no glue or anything like that, but this time I will actually use the expanding foam to make sure it's more durable. And also look who is there. Thor is checking us out. Hello, hello. We are just looking at your enclosure, don't you worry. So I am going to use the expanding foam to secure rocks to the back, but I will also cover the holes in between them with excavator clay. So it will basically look the same, but it will be more durable and more secure. I'll give it a nice shake and we can proceed. first I will lay all the rocks down to have a rough estimate of where everything will go, and only then I will start gluing, of course. Yeah, something like this, but keep in mind that I'm recording this upside down, so it will be the other, but yeah, you will see. This isn't rocket science, so I really don't need to overcomplicate stuff. Whoa, that is a bit too much pressure, and I can also use small pieces of rocks to cover stuff up. Okay, now I'll show you how it looks from the front. I mean, from the actual side you will be looking at the enclosure, because this is how you are supposed to look at it. Yeah, and all the gaps will be filled with the excavator clay, and maybe I'll add more rocks and secure them with the expanding foam, but this is basically it. That means another time jump, and haha, look at this. It is looking promising, right? And now we need to fill all of those gaps, as I said. For that, this time, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my hands on excavator clay, but instead I got this herb pottery, and in theory it should be the same thing, although we will see. I will use it basically the same, and then we will see if there is any difference. For the background, I'm going to, no, not just for the background, I'm going to mix it with sand, so 1 part sand, 1 part herb pottery, and we will see what sort of consistency that will give us. I'll fill the cracks and then continue shaping the scape on the bottom. Yeah, it should be interesting. So 1 part sand and 1 part this thing. Oh, there are actually some bigger chunks, you see, but it shouldn't be the problem. In you go. I'll mix it up nicely. It is a crucial step to mix everything really good, otherwise we won't get a desired effect. Okay, now to add the water. Honestly, I have no idea how much I need, so I just start with a little bit and then add more when needed. Yeah, this already definitely needs more water. And I think this should be ideal. You see, a nice pasty consistency, even though I would prefer a little bit less water, but it will do. Let's now turn our attention here and see how this will go. So I'll just grab a little bit, you see, and begin squeezing it in, filling all the gaps. Yeah, it is definitely a little bit too wet, so next batch I will make it with less water, but it will do. Now time lapse. Alright then, the background is complete. And I'm super surprised how sticky the paste is. I know that it's been a while since I worked with the excavator clay, but this seems much more stickier than the excavator clay. Anyhow, I went a little bit extra to make it look nice and clean. You see, I washed the edges and I washed all the rocks, at least majority of clay from the rocks. Of course, I cannot wash everything, but yeah, it is all nice and tidy now. And now I can mix more of clay and then proceed with the scape. You see, I will use these wooden pieces, are all from his enclosure, so yeah, he will still have the same things in his new enclosure that he used to have in his old enclosure. And I don't want to add anything else because I want it to be open and spacious, you know, I don't want to clutter it with stuff. So yeah, let's go back into a time lapse. Here we are, all that is left to do is to place the stuff inside, and yeah, even though I said that I won't be placing any new stuff besides the one that was already in his enclosure, I'm also going to use some of these flat rocks, just like the ones that are on the back, on the bottom, to provide some interesting surfaces. I just squeezed it inside and that's it, it's fixed. And another one, and some little ones. Squeeze. Huh. What do you say? This area actually turned out to be really interesting looking, right? Okay, now the biggest piece, this. I want it somewhere here to anchor in the back here and connect with this, just like that. Great. Now the ball will go, of course, in the corner, but I'll just create a shape for it and then remove it, because it obviously needs to be removable because you want to clean it, you know. So I just want a shape for it. And I want to do the same thing with this. Same thing, I'll just press it inside to create a shape, because a friend of mine that actually keeps Mini, he often picks him up with his hide and places it on his workplace. So as he works, Mini would wake up and come outside, crawl on him, and yeah. They have an interactions like that, so I want it to stay possible. And the final piece of wood. I will install it so it appears that it is a part of the background. Just like this. Great! Of course, now it needs to dry for a few days, so a final time jump. Here is the built enclosure with Mini already being inside, you see? It would be even better if I covered the sides with the background, but it is alright. I have one lateralis roach here, so let's see if he will chase it and if lateralis roach will actually find some good hiding spot like this crack or behind this wood piece. Yeah, let's see. Mini, look. Are you going to let a roach roam your enclosure like that? Yeah, I don't think so. Did the roach went behind the tree as I expected? Yeah, judging by where he is looking, it seems like that. I should have made it removable just like his cork bark. Where did that roach go? That is annoying, huh? We are going to consider that a snack for later. Look, you see now? Inside there's a roach, right? You observed it, huh? So I'm going to drop it right here. You see right here the roach should exit the cup, or maybe not. Yes, there, come on. Did you grab it? Or did it went under your... Oh, it is in the cork bark. Look, Mini, it is in the cork bark. Yes? Did you spot where it is? Look, right there. You see him in the crack? Yeah. Oh no, I didn't record it. Okay, but he got the roach. No, the roach is still here. What, you are not used to red runners? What the hell, mate? It is... The roach is now under you. Should I just give you a dubia roach? Oh, finally he grabbed it. You know, your performance is really not that impressive. Now, redemption, please. But are they a little bit too fast for you, huh? Or you're just a little bit too slow, my buddy? Oh. Over there. Here. Get him. Yes, get him. This roach is also on an adventure, but thankfully he cannot climb the particle board. So now he's going with... Mini, come here. Grab him. Same spot where he caught the previous roach. Same freaking spot. Excellent. Now to add the door so you can see how that functions. Just like this, and now no roach can escape. Even between the glass, the gap is really small, so they cannot squeeze outside. But yeah, as I said, I still need to put the panel on top, a glass panel or plexiglass, I'm still not sure, but it will only go up to here. This will be open because he won't be able to crawl past this point anyway. And having top open will be best for the ventilation. Of course, basking and UVB lamp will go right here, so this will be the basking area, while this side will be colder side, and that should be perfect for him. More space, engaging environment should make Mini a one happy lizard. He's already checking out, seeing if I will drop more roaches. Not today, buddy. A bit later. I need to grab dubias, so it will be a bit easier for you. But anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs it up and comment something. If you want to support this channel more, there's a Patreon page and also a web page with merch and stuff. I upload on Monday and sometimes a live stream on Sunday. So see you again soon. Bye!